Today we are going to start with the classifications. The classifications involve subsidiaries, locations, departments, and cost centers. Cost centers in the others were classes. Can you, any one of you explain what, sorry, what is a subsidiary?
Subsidiary means that any company is having a branch, like Tata is having Tata Motors and TCS and others like that.
Okay, so you're right to an extent. Sorry, I'm just having some bad throat. Okay, so a subsidiary means you were right to an extent. I'll not say it's a branch, but it's altogether a different organization. Branch, you can say it can be a company location, okay? But a branch, or you can say a subsidiary cannot be a branch. It is like a altogether a different organization, which has its own you can say way of functioning. Okay, it has its own vertical. So as you gave an example, Tata Motors. So Tata Group can be one, you can say, organization which has multiple legal entities or multiple organizations. Legal entity, in other words, in Netsuite's terminology, subsidiary. So you can say Tata Group can have Tata Motors. It can have Jaguar. Then it can have you can say Tata Tea. Then it can have Titan, and so on and so forth. So all these different companies have their own, you can say way of working. They have their own you can say transactions. They have their own customers, vendors, and they have their own way of functioning. Okay, and why these are created as subsidiaries, and they can be consolidated to the parent group, so that in case if Tata Group wants to know what's the consolidated financial for the whole Tata Group, then they can do that as well. So these different companies or legal entities can be created as subsidiaries into NetSuite. Okay, these subsidiaries will have their own currency as well. Okay, so currency is nothing but the, you can say, the base currency. Okay, for example, Tata Motors might be having a base currency as INR. Okay, but Jaguar might have pounds. Okay, so each and every subsidiary can have its own base currency in which the financial reports are created or obtained or fetched. Are we clear till now?
Yes.
Okay, so for creation of a subsidiary, so I'll just give you a brief you can say a pictorial format of the subsidiaries that have been created. So this is a subsidiary navigator portlet. So if I open this, so there can be a parent-child relationship. Okay, so here you can see that we have a parent subsidiary, which is headquarters. Then it has various child subsidiaries, which is Americas, Australia, New Zealand, and EMEA. Okay, then Americas has child subsidiary North America, and under North America it has multiple subsidiaries: Canada, Mexico, United States. Similarly, for Australia, New Zealand, you can have Australia. In case if you want to create New Zealand separately, you can do that. Similarly, EMEA has UK consolidated, then you have UK retail, United Kingdom, and the elimination subsidiary. So there can be a parent-child relationship between the subsidiaries. Each subsidiary can have its own financials. It will have their own base currency. So here you can see, if I hover there, you can see the currency of United States is USD. But if I go to Australia, here you can see that the currency is Australian dollars. and you can have the consolidation done at the parent level. Okay, so in case if I want to have a financial report only for Americas, I can do that. So it will get a consolidated financials of these three subsidiaries: Canada, Mexico, and United States. Similarly, in case if I want to have a consolidated report for EMEA, okay, so it will include UK retail, United Kingdom. Okay, and in case if I want to have a consolidation at the parent level, I can just generate the reports for headquarters. Okay, any
Okay.
questions, any queries?
No.
Okay, so now I show you how you can create or navigate to a particular subsidiary. So for doing that, you need to go to setup, company, and if you scroll down here, you will see a classification group wherein you can see subsidiaries, departments, locations, and classes. If I click on subsidiaries, I'll navigate to the list of all the subsidiaries that have been created. Okay, so here you can see that we have headquarters. Under headquarters, we have Americas, North America. North America has Canada, Mexico, United States, and so on and so forth. Okay, so in case if I want to edit a particular subsidiary, I can click on edit. If I want to create a new subsidiary, I can create a new subsidiary as well. Before doing that, earlier what Netsuite was doing is it had a single subsidiary structure. Okay, so there was only one subsidiary that could be created in a particular account. Then it came up with one world product. One world is nothing but wherein you can create multiple subsidiaries. Okay, as you can see here. So what we had to do is, in case if we are having you can say our you can say operations in multiple countries. So for example, I have my operations in United States, India, and Australia. So I had to you can say procure 3 subsidiaries from Netsuite. Okay, but what now Netsuite has done is, and earlier in case if I had 2 legal entities in United States itself, even if they were in the same country, I had to buy the subsidiaries. So in case if I had 2 subsidiaries in America, then I had to procure 2 subsidiaries from Netsuite. But recently, a couple of years back, what Netsuite did is, instead of buying the subsidiaries, what we have to do is we have to buy the countries. Okay, so in case if I have operations in United States, India, and Australia, I have to buy 3 subsidiaries. But in case if I have operations or multiple subsidiaries in United States itself, so for example, if there are 2 different companies working in United States, I don't have to buy multiple subsidiaries as I've already bought United States. So I can create any number of subsidiaries under United States. I don't have to buy them separately. If I have bought the, or if I bought the company, or you can say the country. Is that clear? They can create multiple subsidiaries, but they don't need to buy multiple subsidiaries. They can just buy the country.
Okay.
See,
So
one world is nothing but wherein you can create multiple subsidiaries.
okay.
Yes. So they will have to buy United States, and they can create multiple subsidiaries there. But the only condition is that the instance that they have bought should be one world. Okay. In case if it is not one world, they will not be able to create multiple subsidiaries. Or else they will have to, you can say, request Netsuite so that they will you can say transfer their normal instance to a one world instance. Okay.
Okay.
Now, any guesses what is the maximum number of subsidiaries that can be created? Because there should be a limit, right? I cannot go ahead and create 1,000 subsidiaries.
Yes.
Any guesses?
I think it is based on the country.
Yeah, even if it is based on country, there is a limitation that you can create at the most so and so number of subsidiaries. Okay, because there might be some performance issues. You can, in case if there are more than a particular number of subsidiaries that are created. Okay, so earlier it was 25. Okay, and they increased the number to 125. Okay, but now recently in 20.2 release, they have increased the number of subsidiaries from 125 to 200. Okay, so you can create at the most 200 subsidiaries in one word instance. Is that fine?
Yes.
It means under HQ we can create 200 maximum subsidiaries.
Sorry, right.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'll just edit one of the subsidiary. So once I edit it, you'll be able to see what are the things that I need to map on a subsidiary. Now the thing is, when I create a new subsidiary, there are some things which cannot be changed once the subsidiary has been saved. Okay, so I can give it a name. I can give it a taxonomy reference in case if I want to. Apart from that, each and every subsidiary can have its own logo. Logo is nothing but the logo that you see here. So each subsidiary can have its own logo. In case if you want to have a website, you can say defined here, we can do that. In case if you want to have a document number prefix, what does that mean? I'll let you know during the future sessions. Okay. Now the thing is, once I have saved a subsidiary, the NetSuite doesn't allow me to change the country and the currency of that particular instance. Okay, of that particular subsidiary. Sorry. So we have to be extra cautious, extra careful whenever we create a subsidiary, because once we have created it, NetSuite will not allow me to change the country and the currency, base currency of that particular subsidiary. Is that fine? Are we okay till now?
Yes.
Okay. Apart from that, I can define the fiscal calendar. What is a fiscal calendar? Subsidiary can have its own fiscal year or financial year. Okay. So here, for example, for US, you can it starts from January. For India, it starts from April. So each and every subsidiary can have its own fiscal calendar. We can create fiscal calendars if required. Okay, here you can see only these many. But in case if you want to create a fiscal year, you can create accordingly. So whenever we'll be going through the accounting section, I'll be showing you how you can create a fiscal calendar if required. Similarly, you can have a tax fiscal calendar as well. Similarly, as mentioned, each subsidiary will have its own base currency. So you can define the currency as well. Okay. Any questions till now?
Suppose
Apart
you
from
1 minute
yes,
just you told now that base currency is fixed. We have to be careful. Suppose anyone has wrongly created that. What is the process for correction? We have to contact to NetSuite.
there are two options. If you have created it and if there are no transactions associated it yet, you can just inactivate that particular subsidiary so that it will not be used anymore. Okay, this is one option. Or else the other option is you have to contact NetSuite support. Then they create a window of around, I think, some days wherein you'll be able to change the currency. But that is not recommended. So you have to be extra cautious whenever you create a subsidiary and select the correct base currency.
We cannot delete it, right? The subsidiary once created.
In case if there are any transactions, you will not be able to delete it.
Okay.
If there are no transactions, it will allow to delete.
Okay.
Okay. So now you can give it an address as well. In case if you want to have address to a particular subsidiary, you can click on edit and address form will open wherein you can define the address of the subsidiary. Similarly, there are various other subtabs. I'll not go into the vendor bill matching because it's a suite app that, or you can say a three-way vendor bill matching. Maybe we can just take that during the other sessions. But nexuses, okay? So depending on the province and the country that we have defined, the system will automatically define what is the nexus. Nexus is nothing but the tax jurisdiction. Okay, tax jurisdiction under which these particular subsidiary falls under. Okay.
Okay.
Similarly, preferences. So Saurabh, I did mention yesterday, right? We went through the general
Yes.
preference.
Yes.
So in case if you want to have subsidiary specific preferences defined, I can do that here. I can define the date format, the number format, the negative form number format for each subsidiary separately. Okay. So there are three options. General preferences that are applicable for the whole account. Okay. So
Yes.
each and every subsidiary will have that. But if I define separately for the subsidiary, so these preferences would supersede the general preferences. So these will these preferences will be given the precedence. Okay. Similarly, there are personal preferences as well. So in case if I made any changes on the personal preferences, those would be superseding the subsidiary specific preferences that are set. But those personal preferences would only be applicable to a particular user. Okay, not for all the users. Okay. Similarly, document numbers. Whenever we start the accounting, I'll show you where we can define the accounting numbers, and we'll get back to this particular subtab. Okay. So we'll be getting back to vendor bill matching and document numbers during the later sessions. Okay. So whenever I conduct a session on that particular topic, I'll come back here and show you how that works in NetSuite. Okay. Apart from that, workflow, it's by default, you don't need to do anything here. It's for the system. Translation. Okay, yesterday I showed you there are only two languages. Okay, in the preferences, we had defined French and English. Okay, so in case if this particular subsidiary is known as HQ in English, but in case if you want to give it a different name in French, you can define it here. Okay, so in case if a particular user has defined its language as French, it will see that particular name. Okay, is that fine? Similarly, system notes. These are nothing but in case if there are any changes that are done to anything, the system keeps up track of what changes were done, who they did the changes, and when the changes were done. So these are nothing but the system notes. Okay, so this is how you can create a particular subsidiary or edit a particular subsidiary. Are we okay with subsidiaries?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's move forward. In case if you want to have any more understanding, you can just click on help and it will give you the complete information about subsidiaries. I've covered 99% of the stuff, but in case, so sorry, I just made a mistake. From 125, they have just increased it to 250 and not 200. Okay. So in case if you want to have any help associated with it, you can just go through the subsidiary help. And in case if you have any queries, you can always get back to me. Now, one more thing that you can say I'll just go back. I'll just open another subsidiary. I have the option to define the parent of the subsidiary as well. Okay. So as this was a parent subsidiary, it didn't show up. But if I open Americas, here you can see that I can define the subsidiary of, or you can say who is the parent of this particular subsidiary. Okay, so this is how you can define the parent-child relationship for a particular subsidiary. Is that fine?
Yes.